9 on Your Side's Healthy Living, brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network.
Tonight in Healthy Living, a dangerous amount of older adults fall into what's called polypharmacy. That's a term for people who take 5 or more medications. The New York Times reports the average senior is taking more medications than ever. In a recent study, 39% of people over the age of 65 fall into that polypharmacy category. The most dangerous part is that patients and their doctors are not paying enough attention to drug interactions and the side effects of being on multiple drugs at one time. Now, one new way to keep bed bugs away is to change the color of your bed sheets. A new study shows most bed bugs are drawn to the color red. There are 2 theories. Bed bugs are red, so they think they're with other bugs. They also feed on blood. Black was a close runner-up. The bed bugs mostly avoided fabric with green or yellow tints. Something to think about. Here is some troublesome news as barbecue season begins. Doctors are treating more than 3,500 people for a tick-related meat allergy. It's been spreading across the southern and eastern U.S. during the past 2 decades, and the number of cases is rising. The CDC says a bite from the Lone Star tick makes you allergic to red meat. Take a look at this map from the CDC. The tick is found in Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky. We're on your side with a healthy eating trick at 5 o'clock here. In a new study published in the Journal of Consumer Research, people ate fewer calories when they ordered their food online instead of ordering at a store or a restaurant. The researchers say we're less impulsive when making purchases online. So the next time you need to order some lunch, give it a try. Craig?
All right. I will. Much more ahead on 9 on Your Side at 5:30. Let's get over to anchor Julie Dolan with some of the stories we're working on. Julie?
Well, Craig, days after that massacre that left 8 people dead, the community is still shaken. We're going to take you back out live to Pike County, where that small town is now trying to get some sense of normalcy by buying guns. Anchor Tanya O'Rourke is also live with the latest on the investigation. And the uncle of a Cincinnati murder victim is speaking out tonight. Hear why he believes city leaders need to do more than make arrests. His call to action next at 5:30. Here's
right now at 5:30, we continue to get new details out of Pike County, where a massacre left 8 people dead. The autopsies are now complete.
But investigators still do not know who is behind the deadly shootings. We have several crews on the scene making sure you have the latest information.
Anchor Tanya O'Rourke, in fact, joins us live from Pike County tonight. She begins our team coverage on this massacre. Tanya?
You know, Julie and Craig, people here in Pike County, they're still very shaken, as you can imagine. It is difficult for them to gain a sense of normalcy when there is at least one killer, maybe more killers on the loose tonight. And investigators at this hour are still trying to tie all the pieces together in this really heinous situation. The Pike County Sheriff made sure to warn residents that there is a killer, maybe killers on the loose. Take a listen to what he said.
I can tell you, if you are fearful, arm yourself. If you feel that you need to protect yourself or family, do so.
So we wanted to know if gun sales have gone up over the past weekend in this county, in the surrounding areas. Well, 9 on Your Side's Julie O'Neill, she went out asking if they would be willing, people would be willing to pull the trigger if they had to.
At the Retro Diner on 23, you're likely to have the beans and cornbread, and you're likely to be talking about the big headline.
Everybody's worried about it. Just worry about their family and protecting them and make sure the doors are locked at night. And some of them talk about getting security systems.
66-year-old Brenda Mills is thinking about getting a gun.
You have plans to get a concealed carry license?
Seriously thinking about it.
And Mills is not the only one.
Most people are quite concerned. This is something we're not accustomed to around here.
Rick Ford at Bill's Bait House says he's had people come in each day since the murders in Pike County. While I was here, a young mother with her mom who didn't want to be on camera.
There have been several people arm themselves due to their concerns. Just said they were concerned and they wanted something for their own safety.
Sheriff Charles Reeder made clear he recommends it for those who have fears. Brenda Mills had actually been planning to get armed for weeks.
Before this happened, it's just, it seems like there's too much happening around anymore. People's not feeling safe. There's too many drugs, there's too many People, these drugs are just going crazy. It's just too unsafe nowadays. You got to protect yourself.
That was Julie O'Neill reporting. Take a look at this. This is Chopper 9, the only local helicopter getting you breaking news first, live above the crime scene. The road leading up to it, it's blocked. It's going to stay that way until investigators say they have all that they need. Anyone with information is asked to call the Pike County Sheriff's Office. You know, more counties are doing their part to help with this investigation. Butler County Sheriff Richard Jones just tweeted this picture. It is an incident command post, which is now on its way here to Pike County. We're going to continue to bring you the latest developments, of course, out of Pike County on this situation. A little later at 6, we're going to hear from the father of one of the victims, or the only local station to have this conversation with the father. We're going to share any new information with you on air on WCPO.com, of course, and we'll be sending you push alerts to your phone or your iPad. And of course, I'm going to send it back now to Craig and Julie in the studio with all the day's news.
All right, Tanya, thank you. We'll see you soon. A Cincinnati man is being held on $1 million bond for killing a man in March. James Wofford was caught last week near Atlanta. Police say Wofford gunned down Jamar Givens in a backyard on Elberon Avenue March 9th. Officers worked with police in Georgia to track him down and were able to bring him back to Ohio last week.
The uncle of a college student shot to death in Cincinnati was in town today, pushing for changes to bring peace to the streets.
Vernon Hummins tells our Scott Wagner it's not just about arresting the shooters.
Stop the shooting! Stop the shooting!
Even as they shouted for an end to the violence on Cincinnati's streets, many of the marchers didn't know how that could be accomplished.
We don't.
They began at Redding and Dale Roads in Bond Hill, where 19-year-old college student Paris Hummins was shot to death while she rode in a car driven by her friend Christian Williams.
It was so fast that I didn't even know it was a gunshot.
Police say there's been 22 homicides in the Queen City so far this year.
This isn't just a police issue. This is a community issue.
These marchers know that's true, urging neighbors with their voices to be a part of the solution, whatever that looks like, however they can. Lieutenant Colonel Mike John says it's working.
Walking down the street, people coming out of their houses. Let me tell you what I saw. And that's just reinforcing the importance of doing this.
Paris Hummins' uncle Vernon Hummins went out of his way to encourage residents to get involved. His niece's death was a call to action he wouldn't wish on anyone.
I used to always wonder what was my calling, but now I see I got to be an advocate for change.
And he's advocating communities get serious about spreading the peace.
We need to stop the flow of guns coming into our neighborhoods, and we need to put resources in our neighborhoods that will give the young people something to do, as well as provide them with jobs.
Scott Wagner, 9 on your side, Bond Hill.
A man accused of violently kidnapping his ex-girlfriend from her Cleveland home has killed himself. Kyle Johnson was found hanging in his jail cell. Police say he kidnapped his former girlfriend last week and then broke into a random home. That's where he killed another woman and injured her husband. Johnson was caught after a neighbor interrupted that break-in and shot him.
A new report shows Kentucky has the highest percentage of kids with parents who've been to jail. The Annie E. Casey Foundation reports that 13% of children in the Commonwealth have had a parent incarcerated at some point in their lives. That is nearly double the national average.
The Justice Department is launching a new policy program here to help convicted felons once they are released from custody. Here's the deal. The Roadmap to Reentry program, as it's called, is aimed to help former inmates find work, rejoin their families, and not return to prison. Under this program, the Federal Bureau of Prisons will provide everyone a plan for when they get out. Federal prisoners will get educational, job training, substance abuse, and mental health help.
A girl from New York who came to the tri-state for burn treatment has died. Treasure Brighton underwent treatments at Shriners Hospital. She had burns to 90% of her body. The 8-year-old was flown here from Buffalo back in February. Brian received the burns in an apartment fire that killed 2 other people. The city of Blue Ash is being recognized for encouraging the employment of members of the military. It received 2 awards from the Employer Support for the Guard and Reserve. One of them is the Freedom Award. It is the highest recognition given by the U.S. government to employers for their outstanding support of employees serving in the Guard or Reserve.
Always love that. All right, coming up next on 9 on your side at 5:30, a teenager's inspiring recovery after surviving a shooting spree in Michigan.
I'm a warrior princess.
She's one strong little girl.
And she is proving everyone wrong and showing her fierce determination to do cartwheels again.
And dramatic video of a mother and daughter escaping a large tornado. See the footage of the twister heading their way.
I'm John Matarese. Is your lawn a little bit long after last week's rain? Watch out. A tri-state homeowner just got a $500 fine for not cutting the grass. Wait till you see the report I have coming up.
You're watching 9 on Your Side at 5:30.
Start your afternoon
Breaking news just coming in. About 150 hogs are on the loose right now.
with the Now Cincinnati.
PG Sittenfeld collapses in front of a packed house.
What's trending locally?
An Ohio senator is proposing a bill that would allow state school districts to sue parents of students who make school threats.
Globally.
A powerful aftershock rocks Ecuador today.
Socially.
The debate over LGBT rights here in the United States is now going international.
Everything happening right now.
Breaking news. Prince, the musician, is dead.
Tomorrow at 4, the Now Cincinnati.
A teen who survived a shooting spree in Michigan is finally home and able to play outside for the first time. Take a look. Abby Kopf is also speaking out, sharing her inspiring recovery. Kopf is the youngest victim in a deadly February shooting rampage in Kalamazoo. She was allegedly shot in the head by Uber driver Jason Dalton. Doctors say at one point her heart had stopped.
She's one strong little girl.
Yeah, I am.
She's breathing. She's smiling. That's all that matters. She's beautiful, and she's with us.
Kopf faces a long road ahead. She will have surgery on her skull next month. Dalton is charged with killing 6 people, including Abby's grandmother.
I'd love to see that she's smiling out there. Well, the governor of Wisconsin is urging for a discussion now on bullying following this weekend's shooting at a prom, of all places. Police say the victims were shot as they left the dance Saturday night in the rural town of Antigo. Now, 2 students were taken to the hospital but are expected to live. The shooter, identified as 18-year-old Jacob Wagner, was shot and killed by police. He's a former student who claimed that he was bullied when he went to school there.
A mother and daughter got a close-up look at a tornado in southern Nebraska. The 2 were driving home when they saw some dust picking up off the field next to them. They had no other choice but to beat the tornado, which they were able to do. Despite the size of the twister, there were no reports of damage in that area. Steve?
Julie, as we look ahead here, we've got some rain and some thunderstorms, and perhaps even a chance for some stronger to maybe severe weather. I'll show you what day that could very well play out coming up.
Borderline enraged that it feels like a cash grab suddenly.
A $500 ticket for weeds. John Matarese gets answers from the city about the law for your lawn so you don't waste your money.
They didn't give my daughter and them a chance, so I ain't gonna get someone to test on me.
Next at 6, a family targeted. One victim's father speaking out. You're watching 9 on Your Side at 5:30.
Catch live Ohio Lottery drawings on your official Ohio Lottery station, 9 on Your Side.
You're watching 9 on Your Side at 5:30.
Is your lawn like mine, maybe a little long after last week's rain? Well, watch out. A tri-state homeowner just got a $500 fine for not cutting his grass. Consumer reporter John Matarese explains, but first, 2 lawsuits you should also know about. John?
Well, Julie, T-Mobile claims it is the Un-carrier. You might have seen those ads, but a new lawsuit claims that its no-contract cell phone plans actually have a big catch. A lawsuit filed last week by a customer that is seeking class action status claims T-Mobile's plans have a hidden termination fee. It says you must pay full the cost of the phone you bought if you leave early. That could cost you hundreds of extra dollars. T-Mobile says it has done nothing wrong. An update now on a story we've been talking about for weeks, that big Duke Energy settlement where you could get up to $200 back in refunds. Well, a court has just given the case final approval, saying that the $80 million settlement is, quote, fair, reasonable, and adequate. That means checks should be going out to customers in the next few months. Unfortunately, if you didn't sign up, it's now too late to join the case. Do you live in the city of Cincinnati? You better cut that lawn this week. A new city law has just started handing out huge fines to homeowners who don't keep their lawn trimmed. But one man thinks it goes too far. Bill Fraley shows me the notice that showed up on his mom's front door here in her Clifton Heights home.
This was applied to the door.
They never knocked?
Nobody knocked.
His older mom, who's on disability and struggles to get around, had not trimmed her yard yet this spring. But what he thought would be a simple warning was anything but.
No warning whatsoever.
Just a ticket.
Just a ticket taped to her door.
And what a ticket it was, $500 from the city of Cincinnati.
Borderline enraged that it feels like a cash grab suddenly. $500 for someone on the street. Clearly, no one on this street would be able to make a $500.
So what is going on here? Can you really be fined $500 for letting a few weeds grow too tall in your yard? Well, we decided to come to Cincinnati City Hall for some answers. But no one wanted to speak on camera. City Manager Harry Black referred us to spokesperson Rocky Mers, who explained by email this is part of a new law passed last year to fight property blight. He says the city received a formal complaint and found grass and weeds exceeding 10 inches, which violates the new law. Result, a $500 fine, though it can be reduced to $250 if the yard gets trimmed. Bill Fraley, though, thinks his mom should have been warned.
Even if you don't want to talk to her, at least paste something on the door that says, fix it in 7 days or we will fine you. Not, it's $500 and if you don't pay it in 7 days, it goes to $1,000.
You know, we're going to stay on this story and share our report with some city council members tomorrow. I'll let you know if they think the fine fits the crime. Finally, it's Cheap Gas Monday. Ron McKitty says Kroger in Milford, $1.89. Bob Apke reports $1.94 at the Marathon on Union Center Boulevard in Westchester. And our friend in Indiana, Terry Henkenburn, says Fuel Mart in Aurora, that's $2.09. On WCPO.com, read my report on some Amazon markdowns that are really no markdown at all. Check it out online so you don't waste your money. Julie?
Oh, I still can't get over that $500 fine and then doubling.
No. And doubling, no warning.
Yeah.
Definitely John's going to stay on top of that. So.
All right, well, we want to get to the weather because hopefully you cut your grass today.
I was going to jump in there. That's right, because we got rain almost every day this week. How do you get out and cut your lawn?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
get out right now, I guess, after the show, of course.
Yeah, that's right. You offering? I'm just asking. Yeah, let's show you what's up here as we go forward. Yeah, you know, joking aside, we are going to see a lot of rain this week, and we have got a lot of rain set, especially for Friday night, Thursday morning. And let me say right at the outset, too, that may very well be the point at which we have any chance for any strong or even severe weather, because that's when a cold front, it's actually this low that's way out into the middle of the country, will be cutting across the area. I'll show it to you right now and what's going on. As we look at it, you'll notice that we've got a few clouds over the top of us, but no rain clouds, and I don't really expect any rain for tonight. It's this area of moisture that you see out here around Denver that's going to travel across the country, and that's what's going to provide us with some rain, heavy rain, and thunderstorms. In the meantime, we're still going to see some rain as soon as tomorrow morning. Here's the setup. The low is out there. We have got this other front that's going to go through the area and just stall. Then it's going to be this cold front that moves across the area Wednesday night, Thursday, and that's your 9 first warning. That'll be the time when we could see any potential for severe weather. Now, in the meantime, in the next 24 to 36 hours, this cold front will likely cause severe weather if you're doing some traveling or perhaps friends in the middle of the country. Storm Prediction Center has got a lot in the way of a bullseye right in the middle of the nation, and I'll show that to you as we continue tonight. 81 degrees outside right now with kind of a mixed sky. I've got a few clouds around, and we'll continue to increase the clouds as we go forward. Let me just etch back here and show you what's happening with some timing. As we look at it now, we've got the rain set for tomorrow morning. Here's 7 o'clock, so you could see some at rush hour. Might want to get out the door early. Front travels through the area, and by tomorrow night late, that's where we could see some heavier pockets of rain, especially focused in northern Kentucky as the front stalls there. Now it hangs around, creating kind of a barrier or kind of a point at which some rain and thunderstorms could pop off as we go into Wednesday, even the first part of the day. And then the frontal system moves in. You'll see what's happening as we go forward. That's going to be that heavy rain and the potential for any strong to severe weather. All right, so I mentioned temperatures in the 80s around here, and we're going to fall into the 70s tonight, so it's going to be very mild. I really don't expect any rain. We could see some overnight, more likely as we get up in the morning, as I say. So temperatures in other spots like Lawrenceburg at 80, Mason at 81, Milford 79, Falmouth, you folks at 81 degrees. Everybody's going to fall to just about 60 degrees. I've got 61 in Cincinnati. Rain overnight, the clouds. And then for tomorrow, we'll see mostly cloudy skies, some rain and storms. as I mentioned, more really prevalent tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, 78 degrees. Here's the 7-day forecast. Wednesday, we've got 71 in my forecast because we're going to see rain from the get-go, and with the clouds and rain, it'll keep things down. Once the front passes, we'll end up seeing some clearing going into Friday, and then another actual rainmaker coming in, Julie, for the weekend. So, yeah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. A tough week to cut the lawn, certainly, yeah.
No kidding. All right, Steve, thank you. Coming up next on 9 on Your Side at 5:30, Diana Ross is coming to the Tri-State. We'll tell you how you can get tickets to see the legendary singer, who will also perform with a special guest.
And a hit and run. Police say she crashed into a car and then drove off and then did it again. All new coming up at 6. The U.S. Coast Guard has ended the dream of one man who wanted to run across the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, I said run. Reza Bellucci's hydropod was towed back into land for the second time now. You see it here in the video. Now, he was hoping to use this bubble to run on the water from Florida to Bermuda, but the Coast Guard did not approve. In 2014, the Coast Guard rescued him after receiving a report about a disoriented man in a bubble off the coast of Miami.
Legendary singer Diana Ross is coming to PNC Pavilion this summer. The show is Monday, August 1st. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 11 a.m. on Ticketmaster or PNCPavilion.com. And the show will also feature Ross's daughter, Rhonda Ross. Get those tickets this week. They are scumbags, the words of a father in Pike County who lost his daughter and grandchildren in last week's deadly shootings.
Carol Williams joining us now with more on that story, new at 6. Carol?
Craig and Julie, 9 on Your Side is the only Tri-State station to talk to this father who is understandably upset. And not just at the loss of his family, but he also has questions about the investigation as well. Hear what else he had to say about those who killed 8 people. And a Cincinnati businessman travels counties away to talk to those in the small community. Hear why he says the big money he's putting up could be the best money he's ever spent.
Pain in Pike County. A family without answers but trying to come up with their own.
Whoever done it knowed the family. I think they're a bunch of scumbags.
Pleas for answers. Why a Cincinnati businessman wants to put a reward to help catch whoever killed 8 people. Hit and run. A Tri-State woman accused of crashing into cars and taking off. The reaction from one person caught in the crime. 9 on Your Side at 6 starts now.
Thank you so much for joining us once again. 5 days of investigating and still so many more questions and answers in the death of 8 family members.
There's still fear in Pike County that a killer or killers are still on the loose. But tonight we could be closer to answers. Autopsies are complete on the 8 bodies found with gunshot wounds. However, search warrants have not been filed with a judge just yet. And roadblocks leading to the crime scenes are staying there for now.
9 on Your Side is a complete team out covering the story for you. Julie O'Neill has the words of a family member. TJ Parker is exploring what could help the investigation as well. But let's start with Tanya O'Rourke, who's live at the scene. Tanya?
Yeah, that's right. I am here right at Union Hill Road. It's behind me. And in fact, you take a look behind me. Only one sheriff's deputy sitting out there right now. It feels like shift change right now. There were about 5 earlier, and I spoke to some of them. We've got crews from Ottawa County, Hocking County, Highland, Franklin, Champaign. Those folks are from Ottawa right now. They just arrived today, and they say they don't know how long they're going to be here. They just know they're here to give mutual aid. Now, meanwhile, Attorney General Mike DeWine says investigators have interviewed close to 60 people. But that tonight, there are still no suspects. The marijuana growing operations have been the talk of many folks, but the Attorney General says he doesn't know if it's involved and said that right now, quote, everything is relevant. Now, he spoke to Bill Cunningham on 700 WLW Radio today.
We're going to stay there until we get this resolved. We're on it. It's going to take longer than I'm sure people want. Everyone, wanted us to be able to find.
And tonight we are hearing from a family member of the Rodens. 9 on Your Side was the only Tri-State station to talk with him. And Julie O'Neill joining me now with that part of the story, Julie.
This man, Leonard Manley is his name, the father of one of the victims and actually the grandfather of her 3 children, just came down the road here a minute ago upset about probably one of many things to do with this investigation because they're just not talking a whole lot, Tanya. But you can just imagine the breadth of his grief. And I don't remember all of the stages, but I will tell you he is dealing with a lot of anger. Dana Roden was 37, worked at a nursing home, would give you the shirt off her back. Now Leonard Manley's daughter is suddenly dead along with 3 of her children. You can just imagine how that affects a father.
I think they're a bunch of scumbags.
Manley says he's frustrated he's not hearing much from investigators, being tight-lipped, but he did tell 9 on Your Side this.
Whoever done it knowed the family, because there was 2 dogs there that would eat you up. But I ain't gonna say no more.
Manley says he did hear the sheriff's warning. He and all Roden family members should be armed, and rest assured, he will be.
I'm gonna hunt them. I'm gonna leave my guns, and if someone kicks on my door, he better say sheriff, deputy, or something, because he ain't gonna get a second chance.
And I will tell you, as we've been out here working together to give you team coverage, earlier I called my colleague TJ to ask him what was going on, and he spoke of Jeff Ruby out here with his bus personally after his weekend announcement. I want to send it now to TJ with that angle of the story.
Julie, Cincinnati businessman and restaurant owner Jeff Ruby is putting up $25,000 of his own money to encourage people to come forward with any information.
Come on, this is as diabolical as it gets.
Rolling up in his bus, Jeff Ruby is trying to use thousands of dollars to convince anyone with any information regarding the murders of the 8 members of the Roden family to assist in the investigation.
If $25,000 translates into the capture and conviction of the people that did this, it'll be the best money I ever spent.
Ruby arrived near the crime scenes early this afternoon to get a sense of what this rural county is going through.
I want to get a sense of the community. I want to look around and meet some residents and hopefully the family members to tell them I support them and I care.
He believes this is the worst mass murder of a family he's ever seen.
These people are out on the loose and they're going to kill again. 8 members of a family slaughtered.
Back in town, school was in session for the first time since the murders. The youngest victim, 16-year-old Christopher Roden Jr., was a freshman at Piketon High School. A friend of his spoke to us today saying he learned of his buddy's murder at school.
Dad said, yeah, he goes, one of your buddies was just killed on Union Hill, and my heart just dropped.
Tonight, he and the rest of the Pike County community are remembering the good things about the Roden family.
He was a good kid. He did everything you asked him to do. And he was just, I loved him to death. He was always there when I needed him, and he was just a really good kid.
Now, again, there's $25,000 reward for any information leading up to an arrest. So if you know anything, you're asked to call police right now. There's just not much to explain what happened here in Pike County. Back to you.
All right, TJ, thanks so much for that. Now, as for the investigation into the 8 bodies, we can tell you that tonight the preliminary autopsies are complete. Hamilton County Coroner Lakshmi Samarko performed those autopsies in Cincinnati.
It's overwhelming to an office our size, and we're in a pretty large urban area. And I can only imagine how overwhelming this was.
Of course, our coverage will continue on WCPO.com when you can also see, I should say, how all the family members are related to one another. Kind of a family tree light out there online. Here's what that actually looks like if we have that. We're going to look for updates throughout the evening, online, of course, on air, and on our 9 on Your Side mobile app as well. Make sure you download that.
And the village of Lincoln Heights is not in a fiscal emergency right now, the words of the state's auditor amid an investigation into the village's finances. Ohio Auditor Dave Yost, who sent extra people in last week to check the books after reports that Lincoln Heights was behind in paying its bills. He told village leaders while the budget is tighter than 2 coats of paint, his words, it's meeting its obligations. However, he added there is still concern about Lincoln Heights' fiscal health, especially the cost of sheriff's patrols going forward.
Nearly a decade later, and there is justice for a young woman who was sexually assaulted as a child. James Sturgill was convicted today of child molestation stemming from incidents in 2006 and 2007. He now faces 28 years in prison. The child didn't come forward until 2011, and by then, Sturgill was already serving time for another molestation case. Cincinnati says the historic Purple People Bridge is being neglected, and they're now suing a northern Kentucky city to get it all fixed. That lawsuit claims that Newport leaders and a Kentucky agency are required to maintain and repair that bridge. An inspection last month found that the bridge would cost $200,000 to repair. And Cincinnati wants Kentucky to pay it back. Head over to WCPO.com right now to read what's going on with that lawsuit and what's next for the bridge.
Another Butler County judge says he cannot hear the motion to dismiss the case against an accused child killer. This is the fourth judge to recuse himself from a motion to dismiss the case against Bradley Young. Young is accused of killing a 2-year-old. His attorneys are trying to get the case against him thrown out because they're alleging their jailhouse calls with Young were listened to by the Butler County prosecutor's office. In the meantime, Young's attorneys want Ohio Supreme Court to decide who will hear the motion to dismiss.
We do have new details about this morning's fire in Miami Township that left a man dead. Michael Sloan died in that fire early this morning. It started right around 4. Firefighters say he lived there with his parents. They both survived. Neighbors say they're getting together to figure out how to help that couple cope.
It must be very hard, and they're just such dear people and have been much loved in the neighborhood. They've got lots of friends.
There was also a family dog that died in that house fire. A second pet was taken to an animal hospital.
Hit and run. Police say she crashed into a car and drove off and then did it again. Coming up at 6, you hear from someone caught in one of those crashes and their message for the driver.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You're watching 9 on Your Side at 6.
The end of your busy day.
You shouldn't have to wait for your news and weather.
That's why we've made it our commitment.
Getting you the day's top stories and your 9 first warning forecast in 11 minutes at 11.
11 at 11. Non-stop news and weather on 9 on Your Side.
Welcome back to 9 on Your Side. Tonight, a discussion over minimum wage in Cincinnati. The proposal to up the base pay is getting opposition from a big tri-state group. The Cincinnati USA Regional Chamber says the proposed hikes actually limit opportunity for business development and compromises regional competitiveness for businesses. Last month, Mayor Cranley announced a proposal to raise minimum wage for city workers and a prevailing wage law.
More than 100 jobs are coming to Boone County as a bedding factory plans to increase business. Sherwood Bedding is planning a 174,000 square foot facility in Walton. The company says it chose Boone County because of logistical advantages and tax and economic incentives. The mattress production factory would initially create 50 jobs and grow to 150 by the 3rd year of operations. Tonight, leaders at the University of Dayton are warning students about 6 confirmed cases of the mumps. The university's president sent out letters to all students and staff. Last week, the school knew of 2 students. They were required to stay out of class until their symptoms cleared. UD officials says nearly all students are required to have received vaccines for the mumps.
Right now, a Kentucky Ethics Commission is looking into claims that Governor Matt Bevin fired state workers because of campaign contributions. Attorney General Andy Beshear is asking that panel to look into those claims. The 2 leaders have been part of an ongoing feud, including cuts to higher education and a lawsuit last week over conduct of the former governor, which is Andy Beshear's father. A spokeswoman for Bevin did not comment on the action.
Weather and sports just ahead. What do you guys have coming up?
Well, talking about some rain really coming almost every day in the next 7 days ahead. And as I look over there, hey, the Dean of Cincinnati Sports back in the saddle. Nice to have you back, John.
Hey, thanks, Steve. The Reds couldn't match the hitting of the Cubs. Now they deal with the pitching of the New York Mets. Sports is coming up.
The crazy drivers you hear about, and it's always kind of scared me that it would happen to me.
A driver smashes into multiple vehicles. This victim tells 9 on Your Side about her terrifying moments on I-71. You're watching 9 on Your Side at 6.
Reports of several hit-and-run accidents happening one right after another lead police to just one driver.
9 on your side's Brianna Harper spoke to a few of the victims involved in those fender-bender crashes, and now they're left wondering why the driver chose to take off not just once, but multiple times.
An afternoon drive along Interstate 71 took a turn for the worse when Holly Wayman found herself in the middle of a hit-and-run accident. A driver rear-ended her car near the I-71-275 interchange, but didn't stop there.
She sped up really fast, and there was a car in front of her, and she had to hit her brakes again.
Wayman's car was left with minor damage to the bumper, but soon enough, she learned she wasn't the only victim. Just minutes later, another accident reported off the exit ramp of State Route 126 toward Hamilton Avenue.
Hit us from behind, and I flew forward and hit my head, whipped back, and by the time I looked back, she was already on the right-hand side of the lane, hightailing it, leaving. I was just sitting there in shock, really.
The Krimmer family was able to grab the driver's license plate and quickly call police. After causing several accidents in several different locations, North College Hill police were finally able to catch the driver in a traffic stop. And that's when she simply told officers she was on her way home. I was able to find at least 4 different hit-and-run accident reports from Mount Healthy and Montgomery police. Each of the accident reports on the same day and around the same time, all involving 22-year-old driver Joy McGee. She was cited for failing to maintain a safe speed and distance, as well as leaving the scene of an accident.
Why are you taking off, you know? See, I thought maybe she had been texting or something and wasn't paying attention to the road.
Just so rude and so disrespectful. I mean, do you not care enough about people to stop?
It's still unclear whether McGee was under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at the time of the crashes. Brianna Harper reporting, 9 on your side.
All right, thank you, Brianna. Well, Craig and I were out today in Hamilton, and the weather was very nice.
Handing out books out there,
Yes,
1,000 books.
right.
And you know what? Let's talk about the weather situation, because as great as it was today,
it's not going to be tomorrow.
Steve?
Yeah, we've got some rain in your 9 first warning forecast, guys. The last of the 80-degree days, at least for now, have ended. 80 degrees today. I don't often start with the almanac, but it's with a point. You know, almanacs and temperature trends and average temperatures, well, they have a way of working out. Here's what I want to show you. You know, we've had a lot of really warm weather here in the last couple of days, but do you remember earlier in the month we had that really cold snap? 41 degrees on the 9th, 44 on the 8th, 48 on the 7th. So this 80-degree weather we've had periodically here toward the end of the month now gets balanced out, and right now we're sitting spot on average for the month. It seems to work out that way. All right, here's the story as you look at it right now in the big picture. We've got kind of a complex weather dynamic setting up going into the next couple of days. We've got a frontal system, an area of low pressure, actually 2, and the combination will set up for rain almost every day this week. Let me show you how this is going to play out. First, the front that's to the north will be sliding down over the top of us. As it does, it's going to drop some rain as soon as tomorrow morning. And we're going to continue to see some rain as we roll through about Thursday morning or so, and then things will start drying out after Thursday afternoon, and we're going to have a pretty healthy rain around here, at least an inch and perhaps even a little bit more. Okay, so as we look at the timing on this, that first front falls in over the top of us first thing in the morning, around 7, 8, 9 o'clock. You're going to see some scattered rain, and perhaps there's a slight chance of some thunderstorms moving through. More likely, it'll be in the late afternoon and evening for tomorrow as the temperatures come up close to 80 degrees again, although I think we'll fall short. We're going to get those pockets of heavy rain showing up, and maybe some of them with some thunderstorms, a better chance in the afternoon. So that first frontal system falls through, stalls out, so that late tomorrow night, you folks in northern Kentucky could really see some heavy rain and isolated thunderstorms setting up. And the possibility of strong to severe weather not out of the mix tomorrow night. On Wednesday, while we'll still have some scattered showers, I think, through the day and the afternoon, it's really going into late afternoon and evening for Wednesday that we end up setting up what could very well be even a better chance to see some severe weather. So there's your 9 first warning. Wednesday night into Thursday, I think, would be the best chance to see any strong to severe storms. It's a possibility until then, but we'll keep an eye on this as we head into Wednesday night and Thursday in your forecast. And you'll notice going right into Thursday, another band comes up before we start getting at least a temporary break. Going into the weekend, I'll be following another area of low pressure setting up way out to the west, and that could mean Saturday and Sunday wet as well, the way things are right now. On our 9 first warning Doppler, temperatures either side of 80 degrees, 81 downtown with us right now. It's going to be a very mild night with temperatures mostly in the 70s and some clouds at times. Now for tomorrow, I'm looking at temperatures in the 60s in the morning and 70s for the rest of the day, a 78 as a high. And your 7-day forecast. Wednesday, 71 with the rain and storms, rain early and 75 Thursday. That break looks to be on Friday before the chance for more rain coming up Saturday, Sunday. Now it's time for sports, and here's John Popovich.
Thanks, Steve. Sounds like a good week for the Reds to be out of town. It's a brand new challenge for the Reds as they begin their second road trip of the season. Over the weekend, the Reds just got clobbered again by the Cubs. Thankfully, they don't have to play the Cubs again till the end of June. But tonight starts a series against the Mets, and they just might have the best pitching in all of baseball.
Yeah, it's good, though. I feel that we can get a lot of good learning out of this and be able to get good experience against good teams. That's how you get better.
Tonight, the Reds get the Mets ace, Noah Syndergaard. He's 2-0 against the Reds' lifetime. Jay Bruce's wife's having a baby, so he's not with the team. Adam Duvall will start in right. It's been 3 full weeks since Villanova won the national championship, but by then, most of our brackets had already been obliterated. Keenan Singleton says a move locally is afoot to keep that from happening again.
Every March, some 40 million Americans, even the leader of the free world, fills out an NCAA tournament bracket. There's often no rhyme nor reason for their picks. Some do it for fun, others for money. All usually end up ripping them to shreds. But over 3 Saturdays in April, students at the University of Cincinnati also get credit for their bracket work with a true method to the madness.
That's because while this class may be about basketball, you don't necessarily need to know how to break a 2-3 zone or who will be starting at the wings for UC next season to get an A in it.
Obviously, we expect people to know something and enjoy basketball, but that's not the necessary prerequisite. It's the math skills that are.
The class uses analytics to simulate how the selection committee will choose who goes where and why, and they're good at it.
There's several guidelines that, and if you measure those that how we do compared to, how the committee does, I think we beat them.
Even the inventor of bracketology, ESPN's Joe Lunardi, stopped by as a guest speaker and came away impressed.
Probably the most advanced that I know about, and certainly the passion that the professors and the students bring to it is great.
The results from this course may be immediate and far-reaching. UC's Director of Basketball Operations tells me that he'll use Lunardi's advice when planning out UC's basketball schedule in the future. Reporting here at the Lindner School of Business, I'm Keenan Singleton, 9 on your side.
Thanks, Keenan. Xavier's announced its awards from this season as voted on by fans and coaches. Remy Abel, Miles Davis, James Farr, and Trevon Blewett all were award winners. And in the NBA, everything Stephen Curry of the Golden State Warriors is going to miss at least 2 weeks of the playoffs with a strained right knee. Game 5 of their playoff series with Houston continues Wednesday night. Now here's Julie Dolan. She looks ahead at 9 on your side at 7. Julie?
Coming up, a wrong-way driver crashes into a garbage truck and goes up in flames. Hear from eyewitnesses to this deadly, fiery crash. All new coming up on 9 on your side at 7.